All right, are we live? Wow, we're about 4 minutes late. Sorry about that, folks. There were some technical difficulties. So I was like, whoa, what's going on with my camera? What's going on with my audio? How come they're not, working? So I had to like do some tweaking and fixing and stuff. So, but anyway, hey, we're live now. So that's cool. Let me just notify everybody online that I am now live at youtube.com/Rama Screen One. Now live at so that everybody can chime in and share your thoughts on the topics at hand. Okay, publish. Okay, I'm gonna get right to it, mainly because at 4 o'clock I will be taping a new discussion video or video blog with my fellow YouTuber Tyler Calvert, all the way from the East Coast. What up, Tyler? So we're gonna be discussing shark movies. Shark movies, yes, in celebration of the upcoming The Meg, which I've heard nothing but terrible stuff about it. I've read reviews and reactions from the early screenings of that film, and none of them are comforting. Just want to put it that way. But at least our discussion about shark movies are gonna be really cool. So you don't want to miss out on that. We're gonna be discussing like Sharknado shit, Jaw shit, Deep Blue Sea shit, all that great stuff. So make sure you check out for that video. Okay, rocking it with Rama Screen Live right now at 3:05 p.m. Sunday, August 5th, 2018. Let's get right to the first news here. I want to have it on my screen so I know what I'm reading. Aha, yes. Woohoo! Make it so. Engage. Those of you, my fellow Star Trek The Next Generation, would know exactly what I was talking about right there. The great Patrick Stewart himself showed up at the famous annual Las Vegas Star Trek convention, and he pretty much confirmed the rumors. There had been rumors about him possibly returning as his iconic role, Jean-Luc Picard. Uh, you know, when the rumors arose, we didn't know what kind of format it would be and stuff like that. But then there was an announcement that CBS was also thinking about expanding the Star Trek franchise beyond Star Trek Discovery for CBS All Access, which is their digital streaming service. So now Patrick Stewart basically has confirmed, yes, I will be coming back as, by the way, Jean-Luc Picard is my favorite Star Trek captain ever. Okay? So no offense to Kirk, no offense to the names escape me right now. The Voyager captain. She's great though. She's great. Well, anyway, no offense to the rest of the guys. All right, but Jean-Luc Picard is the man, and so I'm really excited, super stoked about this news. He's gonna be back as Picard in the brand new Star Trek series that will be on CBS digital streaming service, CBS All Access, home of the current Star Trek Discovery series, whose showrunner Alex Kurtzman will also be one of the people spearheading this new untitled series. Excuse me. That promises to focus more on the next chapter of Picard's life. So this is not Star Trek The Next Generation revival with the whole cast. I wanted it to be that way. I was hoping, I was wishing, like, oh my God, come on. I mean, everybody's coming back. The X-Files came back. Freaking Murphy Brown is coming back, with Candice Bergen. I'm like, dude, why can't you just bring back The Next Generation? But I get it. Everybody's busy now. Even Whoopi Goldberg's busy with that talk show, The View. So now this new untitled Star Trek series is only focusing on Picard. I think my friend Diana, who is a patron of Rama Screen, told me that one of the rumors out there that Picard might be an ambassador this time. So he's not some kind of a Fleet Academy teacher or something like that. He's gonna be just an ambassador, which is what Spock was, I believe, in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies. Before Leonard Nimoy passed away. So no word yet. No word yet if any of Stewart's Star Trek: The Next Generation co-stars will also make an appearance in this new show. But I'm hoping that will be the case. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. By the way, before Star Trek Discovery Season 2 arrives next year, yeah, I know, we got to wait quite a while. CBS All Access will also release a new series of a four-part short series called Star Trek Short Treks, which is basically short films that will roll out later this fall, and that one will be kind of like a standalone. So it's not connected to Star Trek Discovery arc or this Jean-Luc Picard new show. That one, the show will be like 10 to 15 minutes long, or 10 to 15 minutes short, I should say. So that's going to happen this fall. I want to read to you this statement by the man himself, Patrick Stewart, who actually tweeted this past week when the announcement about his return came. He said, "Let me get this on my screen. I will always be proud to have been a part of Star Trek: The Next Generation, but when we wrapped that final movie in the spring of 2002, I believe that's Nemesis, and I believe Tom Hardy's in it. I think he played the villain. That was before Tom Hardy was, anybody. Uh, anyway, and I continued. I truly felt my time with Star Trek had run its natural course. It is therefore an unexpected but delightful surprise to find myself excited and invigorated to be returning to Jean-Luc Picard and to explore new dimensions within him, seeking out new life for him when I thought that life was over. During these past years, it has been humbling to hear stories about how the next generation brought people comfort, saw them through difficult periods in their lives, or how the example of Jean Luc inspired so many to follow in his footsteps, pursuing science, exploration, and leadership. I feel I'm ready to return to him for the same reason, to research and experience what comforting and reforming light he might shine on these often very dark times. I look forward to working with our brilliant creative team as we endeavor to bring a fresh, unexpected, and pertinent story to life once more. So there you go. There you have it. That's Patrick Stewart's statement about him returning as Jean-Luc Picard. Oh, I'm so stoked. Okay, I got to keep this segment short because we want to get on to the next topic. But just to conclude, um, yeah, I hope the Star Trek: The Next Generation co-stars would make an appearance, guest appearance. It doesn't have to be a regular series. Maybe Riker can come as a recurring role. That'd be nice to see Riker doing his whole bit with sitting down style again. Number two, I actually like Star Trek Discovery, so I feel comfortable that this new show is being handled by the same people, the same creative team. I had my disagreement. What's the not the disagreements? Like I said, I guess I had my beef with Alex Kurtzman in previous years. I don't think he was that great a storyteller in previous years. I think he was involved in Transformers installments too at one point. Um, but what he did with Star Trek Discovery, I'm very satisfied with. So I'm glad that he's spearheading this one. Yeah, that's it. I got no question, no beef about it. I'm just excited. I'm happy for Patrick Stewart. I'm happy for my fellow STTNG fans, and I hope the writers can give us solid story. I joked around with Diana, who's a patron of Rama Screen, because she's a fellow Star Trek fan, and I told her, like, what would be funny if Jean-Luc Picard returns not in a serious, dramatic, I'm an ambassador now kind of role, but but in a Golden Girls kind of sitcom, where we see senior citizen Jean-Luc Picard in a retirement community playing bingo every Sunday, and then you see Wes, visits him from time to time. Oh, that'd be so hilarious. I could visualize the "Thank you for being a friend," the song intro with Jean-Luc Picard on the background, the montage. Oh, that would be so rich. I would not mind that at all. If that was the format, count me in. I just want to see my favorite captain again. All right, let's get on to the next topic here. We're making good time because at 4 o'clock I have to do a taping with my brother Tyler from the East Coast about shark movies. Okay, so the next topic is a bit of a heavy one. So bear with me here. There are two heavy topics today that I want to bring to you. First one was, let me bring it to my screen. Come on, screen, come back. There you go. First one, with regards to Evangeline Lilly. Evangeline Lilly is that beautiful, beautiful actress from the series Lost and Ant-Man movies. If you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, excuse me. She plays the Wasp, and I actually met Evangeline Lilly at Comic-Con. I got a selfie with her. I did not interview her for that time. It was a casual meeting thing. It's like, oh, how's it going, man? I love you on Lost, kind of like that. So yeah, she is a fan favorite, and if you've seen her talk before, either in interviews, maybe on YouTube, or I saw her at press junkets also. She is a very strong personality. Let's just put it that way. Like she really wants the best as far as the characters that she takes on. She wants to make sure that that kind of her family would be proud of that role, or that something that her fans could be proud of. She's not just like taking on roles for the hell of it. And I'm not talking about like she's a crusader or anything, but she wants to put some kind of a standard for herself, and that's fine. That's good. I was like, I want to make sure that the roles I'm taking on is something that I could be proud of. So she's that kind of lady. So this past week, apparently, during an interview with the Lost Boys podcast, Evangeline Lilly revealed that she was coerced into doing semi-nude scenes for her character as Kate Austen in Lost series, and she did not like that experience at all. Of course, this was years ago. She was remembering it, so I want to read to you what she said here on that podcast, and I'm reading off of a Variety article, and I quote: "In season 3, I had a bad experience on the set with being basically cornered into doing a scene partially naked, and I felt had no choice in the matter, and I was mortified and I was trembling when it finished. I was crying my eyes out, and I had to go and do a very formidable, very strong scene thereafter." It continues, "In season 4, another scene came up where Kate was undressing, and I fought very hard to have that scene be under my control, and I failed to control it again. So then I said, that's it, no more. You can write whatever you want, but I won't do it. I will never take my clothes off on this show again." And I did not. And I didn't since then. Um, so that's her quote from that podcast. And the update from this past week is that the producers, executive producers, and the creators of the show Lost, there were 4 of them: J.J. Abrams, Jack Bender, Carlton Cuse, and Damon Lindelof. You probably have heard those names. They're pretty famous now. They released an apology to actress Evangeline Lilly. And so here's the apology, and I quote: Our response to Evie's comments this morning in the media was to immediately reach out to her to profoundly apologize for the experience she detailed while working on Lost. We have not yet connected with her, but remain deeply and sincerely sorry. No person should ever feel unsafe at work, period. So that's the joint statement apology that they released regarding or in response to Evangeline Lilly's revelation about her being coerced into doing semi-nude scenes. Obviously, Lost was on ABC. ABC was owned by Disney. Um, they were not going to coerce her into like full-on naked, but the semi-nude scenes thing. She did not. Kate. Evangeline Lilly did not specify which scenes were those exactly. Those of you who probably have the collector's edition of Lost, the whole set, probably can point out to me which those scenes really are. I'm thinking maybe one of those scenes is when Kate had sex with Josh Holloway's character. Man, the name escapes me. So maybe that's one of them. And the other one is probably kind of like when Maggie Grace is a co-star also there on Lost, when she was just like sunbathing in bikini, maybe something like that. But she's not comfortable with that. Now, this brought to mind, because I was looking up what other actresses out there in Hollywood that in the past have decided to not play ball when it comes to nudity on screen or on-screen nudity. And I found some names, like surprisingly enough, Paris Hilton. She did not want to be doing nude on screen, but then again, she did that sex tape. So there's other names also. Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick came up on my Googling. Anna Kendrick would never do on-screen nudity. Julia Roberts, that's also another name that I remember looking up. Oh, Julia Roberts had never done any nude scenes and will never do one. I don't know about semi-nude scenes. How do you define semi-nude? Is it bikini? Is it lingerie? Not quite sure on that definition. But another name also that came up was Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba would never do on-screen nudity, and if you recall, she played a stripper in Sin City movie and the sequel, and neither of those movies feature her naked. Last I checked, strippers dance naked, but not to belittle them, but that's what they do. But in the case of Jessica Alba, no, she would never go there. And that's cool. Everybody's different. I remember though, when I was at Sin City 2 press junket, it got really really uncomfortable. It got really awkward because one of the Tyler says sharp movies. That's right, Tyler. I'll see you at 4. One of the press was like grilling. It was a press conference. Everybody was there, but one of the press he's a jerk. He was grilling Jessica Alba by bluntly saying, "Hey, you're playing a stripper. Why aren't you naked on screen? No strippers ever, go fully clothed on the stage." I was like, "What the hell is? Who invited that asshole?" But Jessica Alba, stayed classy throughout the whole thing and gave her answer why she would never do nude. And Robert Rodriguez was, I think, sitting next to her, if I remember correctly, and he defended her. Robert Rodriguez always, has a soft spot for Jessica Alba, like she's his daughter or something. Tyler says, didn't they digitally make her naked in the shower in Machete? I think so, and also, I believe the movie The Eye too. Remember The Eye, that remake of a Japanese horror movie? I think they digitally did something to her too, to make like she showed her butt or something. But she herself would never actually take off her clothes. So back to Evangeline Lilly. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She felt uncomfortable doing that semi-nude scene in Lost, and I totally get it. Everybody's different. Some women are comfortable. Like, I don't care. This is my body. I should not be ashamed of my body. Here you go, world. Have a look at it. I know Julianne Moore has that approach. I remember reading an article about Julianne Moore. It's like, I'm not ashamed going naked on screen. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's my body, just like everybody else's bodies. But Evangeline is not that kind of person. So everybody's different. Now, the apology is fine. I think it's fine. I wonder though. I want to know again what episode, what scene specifically, and who's the director of that episode. Was the director involved in coercing her? Um, and are J.J. Abrams, Jack Bender, Carlton Cuse, and Damon Lindelof doing something about this director, or are they still hiring this director? Or maybe it's somebody else that was coercing her on the screen. I mean, we just don't have details. I would love, if only we had more details, we could have a better understanding of what happened. Um, but maybe it's a good thing that we don't have details, so we can just like leave it at this. There's an apology, and there's that, and that's that. There's no response yet from Evangeline whether or not she has accepted their apology. That would be interesting too. Would love to see what her thoughts are regarding their joint statement. So to conclude, I remember also Jennifer Lawrence right after the whole nude photos of her got leaked online from her cell phone by some asshole hacker. Um, she had a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of, she was wrestling with the idea of starring in the movie Red Sparrow, because Red Sparrow, the story required her to go full nude, but she eventually agreed to that. I know a lot of people gave her much heat about that afterwards. A bunch of people are like, "Whoa, what are you doing? I thought you were, the whole gang's like, hey, you can't just release my nude photos online, but now you're going nude on screen." Well, but I want to defend Jennifer Lawrence, because that's not, to me, that's not a double standard, because the whole leaked nude photos thing, that was not her consent. Okay, she did not give permission to that. Whereas Red Sparrow is something that she's like, this is what the role requires. In order to fully depict this character, accordingly, to give it justice, I gotta do this. So she gives her permission for that. So she consented to that. That's a job that she signed on to. Whereas the nude photos is not something that she consented. So that's a big difference. So for those of you out there, if you say like, "Hey, Evangeline Lilly, you signed on to be on Lost," that means you signed on to agree to whatever the character requires. I'd have to disagree, because again, that's maybe a different argument if it's an HBO show. This is something ABC, again, owned by Disney. Um, and Evangeline Lilly is just not that kind of actress. She is within she's in that group with Anna Kendrick and Julia Roberts, and everybody's like, I can do the craft without going there, without having to go there. And I think that's something that should be respected, especially in this time of the whole Me Too era. And I want to bring this up again lastly, because times have changed. Decades ago, and I always bring this up as an example, Bill and Ted can say the F word as a joke, but that's not going to fly anymore in the new Bill and Ted movie, and that's okay. Our culture is changing, evolving, hopefully for the better, and hopefully for this specific case, the directors or producers in charge of whatever show could be more considerate with their actors' stance with regards to on-screen semi or full-on nudity. That's it. Those are my 2 cents on that. Next topic. Oh, okay. So this is a fun one, not a heavy one. We just had the heavy one. Okay, as a fan of Die Hard franchise, I must say I am not really looking forward to Die Hard 6. Unfortunately, though, Die Hard 6 is going to happen. I love the first Die Hard movie. I was on the Popcorn Talk podcast this past week, and I told them that this joke that I always tell people, that when I was in Indonesia growing up. When people ask me like, "Hey, your English is very well. Where did you learn your English? How'd you learn it?" I told them John McClane taught me English, because Die Hard is one of the first movies I saw as a kid. So when I went to the 30th anniversary celebration, also at the Fox Plaza last weekend, oh man, it's just like I felt like a 12-year-old again, man. It was awesome. The sequels, I want to say Die Hard 2 was great. Die Hard 3 was entertaining, but not great. Die Hard 4 had potential. Unfortunately, it was PG-13. I don't know why Live Free or Die Hard had to be PG-13. That was a terrible choice on their part. Die Hard 5 was back to rated R, but the story sucked. It was in Russia, I believe, and it was no more the formula of John McClane at the wrong time or the wrong place. So it was very, very disappointing. So Die Hard 6 is going to be developed once again by the director of Live Free or Die Hard, Len Wiseman. And he said to Slash Film that the sixth Die Hard movie will be a prequel. It will feature younger John McClane and younger Holly Gennaro. And the story is set in the 70s. Tyler says Die Hard 6, Die Hard is. So here's he said. Basically, he said he's waiting for the script to be right. He's waiting for the script to be solid. The script is not ready yet. And then they're going to start shooting. But what you need to know, my fellow Bruce Willis fans, is that they're going to cast somebody to play younger John McClane and younger Holly. But Bruce Willis and actress Bonnie Bedelia, who plays Holly, both of them will also show up in this sixth movie. So the movie's not going to be all set in the past. It will kind of like go back and forth with the present. And so I'm reading that. I'm reading those details. I'm like, what is this? What is this? An Oscar-worthy drama? I was like, what is this? The Hours? What is this? Freaking The Notebook? Going back? Like, come on, man. So there's terrorists attacking in the 70s and terrorists attacking the present day. So both Bruce Willis's or both John McClane's would have to save the day. I was like, this is so confusing. This is just why? Leave John McClane alone. We already had 5 movies. Okay, this is unfortunately Die Hard is not like Mission Impossible where it gets better and better with each passing installment. But no, that's not the case at all. You can only capture the magic twice, 3 times maybe, but after 5 times, man, that's it. Okay, you are not Ethan Hunt, John McClane. So I would have to vote no on Die Hard 6. Of course, when the movie comes out, I'll eventually see it and review it, as I always do. But am I looking forward to it? Am I stoked for it? Am I enthusiastic for it? The answer is hell no. Tyler says, does it kind of ruin Die Hard since John McClane is just a cop in the 70s? Exactly, right? He's probably a cop, like with a uniform cop, not a detective cop, like he would probably in the 70s he was probably a rookie, giving tickets on the street, or maybe parking cop. And in the 70s it's like the police department was so corrupt. The movies about cops in the 70s were like what's that one? The name escapes me. I'm telling you, I'm having memory loss, like from the one with Al Pacino. Oh, that was a great movie. Scapero? It'll come out to me. But anyway, it's not action comedy. It's like freaking drama about the corruption in the police department. Because cops were dirty back then. I mean, if you thought cops are dirty now, they're even dirtier back then. So I just don't see how this will work. Maybe they're going to prove me wrong. We'll see. But right now, I'm just not stoked about the possibility of Serpico. There you go, Serpico. Oh my god. I watched that movie when I was younger. I was like, holy shit, this movie's awesome. Serpico. All right, next up, we're making good time here. Uh Carrie Fisher is gonna show up again in Star Wars Episode 9. This is actually a news from 2 weeks ago, but I was at Comic-Con, so I couldn't actually do Rockin' It with Rama screen live at the time. But excuse me. What they're gonna do is that they're gonna use unreleased footage of Carrie Fisher as Leia or General Leia from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And also, this past week, there was news that hit the web from Carrie Fisher's brother, revealing that not only will Episode 9 use unreleased footage from The Force Awakens, but it will also make use of Carrie's unreleased footage from Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The movie that we saw last year by Rian Johnson. So that's the plan. What do I think of this? When I heard the news, I was like, okay, I get it. Star Wars: The Last Jedi hasn't addressed, General Leia's departure. Unfortunately, of course, sadly, Carrie Fisher passed away in 2016, in the fall of 2016. So by then, Star Wars: The Last Jedi already wrapped. So it was a very untimely death. So it's not like they could oh my God, let's do reshoots showing Leia, sending her off or something. No, they couldn't do that. It was already wrapped. So I totally get the intention why they need to bring back Carrie Fisher as Leia in Episode 9 to give her a proper goodbye, if you will. Using unreleased footage from Star Wars: The Force Awakens and Star Wars: The Last Jedi, will that work? I'm not sure. It depends. How are you gonna fit that context, and kind of stitch it into the context or the story that you wanna have for Episode 9? And I hope it's not too distracting. I'll be like, because the unreleased footage is for those movies. It's not for this movie. You know what I'm saying? So how are they gonna fit that into this story arc? I don't know how that's gonna work out. And I hope it's done in a very appropriate and respectful way, respectful to her memories. Because I don't know about you, but I was not a fan of the whole digital Leia at the end of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It looked okay, but at the same time, it looked also creepy. Like, it seems like they're just okay. I may sound like a bad guy saying this, but it seems like they're just banking on her. It's like, oh my goodness, we're gonna get more asses in theater seats if we bring Leia back, and hopefully that's not their intention. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I want to finish on this. Do you remember Christopher Nolan, the director of the Dark Knight trilogy? Right after the Dark Knight was released in 2008, summer 2008, because Heath Ledger passed away, I believe, in January 2008. So, it's a big deal. Heath Ledger as the Joker in the movie was part of the draw that made that movie a box office success. Of course, the fact that the movie was amazing is also, a factor. But you can't deny that everybody's curiosity of the late Heath Ledger Joker's performance as Joker is part of that appeal. And right after that movie, leading up to, I think the years leading up to the sequel, The Dark Knight Rises, fans are speculating. It's like, oh, are they going to bring back the Joker? Because the Joker did not die at the end of The Dark Knight. He survived, was still breathing. Oh, are they going to recast him with another actor? Or maybe they're going to use unreleased footage, that were left in the editing floor. Are they gonna put that in the Dark Knight Rises? Maybe a laugh or like ha ha ha, hey, hey, ho, 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 something like Joker laugh. And Christopher Nolan, I remember reading an article. It's like, no, no, I'm not gonna put the Joker back. I'm not gonna put Heath Ledger back. Not even for like a few seconds of tease or whatever. Heath Ledger as the Joker is in the Dark Knight, and we're gonna leave him there. That's his legacy. I'm not gonna pander, just to get you to like see the Dark Knight Rises for the reason of, oh my god, I'm curious to see that how they're gonna apply the Joker or Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger gets resurrected for the Dark Knight Rises. So Christopher Nolan doesn't want that to be the gimmick for the Dark Knight Rises, and I respect that. I totally respect that. So I think you can understand why I'm a little torn about, or I'm not fully excited about Carrie Fisher coming back for Episode 9, because I'm on the camp of Christopher Nolan. All right. Okay, maybe Leia did not get a proper goodbye in The Last Jedi. She had that Mary Poppins scenes. I don't know why she had the Mary Poppins scene floating in space. That was kind of weird. But let's just leave it there. You don't have to go CG digital or try to stitch old footage, make it fit somehow. No, 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 no. I'm with Christopher Nolan. Okay, let's not make Leia, or let's not use Leia as a prop, or let's not use Carrie Fisher as a prop to draw, people's curiosity. People should want to watch Episode 9 because they want to watch Episode 9, not because, oh, I'm so curious how they're gonna fit Carrie Fisher into. So it's all about Carrie Fisher now. It's like, dude, that's not how. A part of me says that's not how you respect her memories. So I'm a little torn. I'm a little bit defensive about that. Um, Tyler says, "Give me more flying Leia." Right? What the hell is that? The Leia was acting like Mary Poppins in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. That was like, woo! It's like, oh, I can fly in space. Oh, come on, Ryan Johnson. Come on, man. But yeah, I'm on the camp of Christopher Nolan. I right now I just want to say, hey, just let's just move on. Let's just move on. But maybe the fans want to see Leia once more, to see a proper departure of Leia. Then I guess I'm the only one who's on the other camp. All right, that's my 2 cents. Last topic of the day before I do my taping with Brother Tyler about shark movies. Woo 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 woo. A bit of update regarding James Gunn. So this past week, the whole cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole lead cast, not the whole entire, including supporting actors, they released an open letter. Everybody on their Instagram account posted this. It's a lengthy letter. I'm not going to read all of it to you here. You can go to their Instagram. Chris Pratt's Instagram is one of them. And they basically requested Disney to reinstate James Gunn to his directing role for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let me read to you real quick. Just basically, Chris Pratt says, although I don't support James Gunn's inappropriate jokes from years ago, he is a good man. I would personally love to see him reinstated as director of Volume 3. And in the letter, it says, we fully support James Gunn. We were all shocked by his abrupt firing. We've been encouraged by the outpouring of support from fans and members of the media who wish to see James reinstated. Fast forward. There is little due process in the court of public opinion. James is likely not the last good person to be put on trial. Given the growing political divide in this country, it's safe to say instances like this will continue, although we hope Americans from across the political spectrum can ease up on the character assassination and stop weaponizing mob mentality. Okay, so what the open letter was referring to, that is what I mentioned to you in the previous videos that I did about James Gunn, is that the people that dug up all those old tweets were alt-right group led by this asshole named Mike Cernovich, whose mission in life is just to get people fired. So I've shared with you my views about this on the previous videos, so you can check it out on Rama Screen YouTube channel. But want to give you the update. The open letter was released this past week, and then a couple days after that, Variety reported that, unfortunately, no disrespect to Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Karen Gillan, Dave Bautista, Sean Gunn, Pam Clemente, Michael Rooker, who did that open letter. No disrespect to them, but Disney has made up their mind, and it's all pretty much set. They're not going to rehire James Gunn. So we're just going to have to let that register in our heads. Unfortunately, that is the hard, cold truth. Disney, despite the letter, Disney will not rehire Gunn at all. So who's going to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? No word yet. None of the cast members can threaten to quit, obviously, because they've signed a contract. So they're under a contract, meaning that they could face legal action if they try to opt out of the sequel. So unfortunately, unlike the case of Chris Hardwick or the other guys or Johnny Depp, in this case, people coming to James Gunn's defense, including this open letter, unfortunately, it was not a game changer. So the decision still stands. James Gunn is out of the job. He is unemployed now. So Disney will have to find a new director. Last I heard, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was supposed to start filming later this year. I can only guess that's not going to happen anymore now. Especially, James Gunn is the one that wrote the script. So I'm guessing Disney will have to hire somebody to provide a new script as well. So that's going to take some time. Kurt Russell, who plays Star-Lord's dad in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, also came out in defense of James Gunn. He said, and I quote, "You have to realize that when you are in that world as a comedian, a writer, or whatever, you're always stretching the boundaries and trying to find something which led him to something that the world loves, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn has a wonderful heart and a wonderful mind. I hope he is forgiven." End quote. And Dave Bautista this past week also retweeted an article. I want to say Forbes. I forgot what outlet it was, but the article's basically the article has a point. Basically, the article saying, "Hey, guys, what's the point of making a film about misfits superheroes? Superheroes are about guys who are given second chances. Tony Stark. You can name a lot of, of course, with the exception of Superman, because Clark Kent is always a goody two shoes. But in the case of Guardians of the Galaxy, these guys are rebels, misfits, robbers, bandits, but they became heroes. That's what James Gunn is. He's a good guy. He used to be, spewing terrible jokes, but he's a changed man. So in firing him, what does that say about these movies? What does that say about Guardians of the Galaxy? So basically, the article's trying to call out Disney for that. It's like, why do you make these movies about superheroes who are bandits and misfits if you're not gonna give James Gunn a chance? Tyler says it's actually James Gunn's birthday today. Oh wow, okay, well, wow, that is a pretty bittersweet birthday. Then I want to say, bittersweet is the correct description of that. But hopefully he is surrounded by his loved ones. But yeah, that article, man, makes a good point. It's like, dude, come on now, come on. So if you want to make a movie about, a bunch of guys who are heroes and have been heroes since they were kids, then make a Superman movie, But that's not what Guardians of the Galaxy is. So I totally get why Dave Bautista retweeted that article, but it's not gonna change Disney's mind. Unfortunately, as I said many times before, Disney is a private company. Private means they can do whatever they want. I know you can cry free speech, free speech, free speech, but Disney is not a public library, not a public park. It's not a government entity. They are a private company, and their brand is family. So they don't want to do anything that would hurt their brand. That's the thing. Um, which is still, to me, is problematic because Guardians of the Galaxy has a lot of non-family jokes in those movies, especially that Jackson Pollock joke in the first movie. So I can go on and on and on till the cows come home, but we as the fans have to just accept the fact that unfortunately we're not going to see James Gunn directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's going to be really awkward though, because it's a different story if the cast and the director don't get along, or it's a different story if they had a different or they had a new director or another filmmaker for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But no, man, James Gunn and this cast have been like tight family. They're like close buds, BFFs. Like, so this is devastating to them. It's gonna be awkward for whoever takes James Gunn's place to kind of like, hey guys, he's gonna be on the set. He's like, hey guys, I know you don't want me here, but can we just work together and make this movie somehow? Hopefully, they don't give him a hard time, like like a classroom would give a newbie a hard time. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll stay tuned on who they will hire for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All right, that's it. That's the Rockin' It with Rama screen for today. Real quick before I go and rocking it with my buddy Tyler, I want to give a shout out of thank you, real quick. Thank you to LA Online Film Society co-founder Scott Menzel for having me be part of the membership. I'm humbled to be part of LAOFSCS, but more importantly, thank you for having me on as a guest on the LAOFCS Popcorn Talk weekly podcast show this past week. That was amazing experience. I was nervous as hell. My colleague Nestor, he did better than I. You can watch it on YouTube. I was laughing so much and so loudly because I was a nervous wreck the entire time. I was like, oh my god, in my head, I was like, don't screw this up, Rama. Don't screw this up, Rama. Don't screw this up. That's the only, because I've never been on a show that big. Usually I'm doing like this on my own YouTube channel. So, but anyway, thank you for inviting me as a guest. I was just grateful to have been there. It really, really, really meant a lot for a small fish like me to have been partying with you guys. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Nestor. Thank you, LAOFCS. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And make sure you come back next Sunday for another episode of Rockin' It with Rama Screen Live right here at youtube.com/RamaScreen1. Make sure you subscribe. And if you can support the channel, please do so at patreon.com/RamaScreen. Say it with me now. Say it with me. Come on. I know you want to say it. Let's rock this.